Another Hall of Famer in the building, Van Chancellor. First of all, thank you for joining us here on Kickin' It With Kunkel. What does it mean for you to be in the Houston Sports Hall of Fame?
It's just unbelievable. Let me tell you, when you don't expect something, then they bring you into a room and they say you're going into one of the most prestigious Hall of Fames in America. And you just are so honored. I mean, I'm just thrilled to death, surprised, but I mean, this is a great moment.
Now, for all of our younger viewers that don't know who Coach Chancellor is, he's a back-to-back WNBA champion for the Houston Comets, who no longer exist right now. And we'll get into the whole thing, whether they think they should come back or will come back. But take us through the story of when you got told that you got into the Hall of Fame.
Last Friday's a week ago, Sarah Joseph of the Rockets called me and said, we're going to have a meeting downtown. And we're going to have lunch afterwards, and we're going to go over a documentary with Cynthia and Cheryl about the championship years. So I'll be at hook, line, and sink. I'll go down to the Palms restaurant, just waiting on that documentary. I walked in, and they said, Bill Worrell was there, and he said, I got two players here that are in the Hall of Fame, and they had them they had a coach when they were playing. They ought to have a coach in the Hall of Fame. And when he said that, he said, Van, welcome to the Houston Sports Hall of Fame. And I just broke down and cried. And they asked me why, and I said, I just never expected this. In my wildest dreams, one of the things my wife and I were sitting around talking about was I ever go into it. I didn't, you don't think about something, you're shocked when it happens.
You know, in so many cities, the city's Sports Hall of Fame, it's nice.
Yep.
It's not the greatest accomplishment for so many people. Kenny Houston was in here. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's the All-Century team. You're in the Naismith Hall of Fame. You're in the every other Hall of Fame that there has to do with basketball. Why does this one mean so much to you?
First of all, they don't have very many. They don't take but 3 a year now. And so you've got a special group of people. You go up and you get a program and look at who's in the Hall of Fame. I hate to mention so many, but you look at Dan Pastorini, Roger Clemens, all of them, Clyde Drexler, Elijah One. It's a special, special place. If you're going to be in this Hall of Fame in Houston, it looks like to me you need to be in your sports Hall of Fame some way, somehow.
You know, God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, amen, brother.
We were talking about this before starting the show. You almost went to become the head coach of the Charlotte Sting.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. I think it worked out for the best going to the Comets. Take me through that story of how you actually became their head coach.
In 1997, I just wanted to try the WNBA, but being honest with you, I couldn't get a job. I just struggled. So finally, I got to talking to the Charlotte Sting, and they offered me the job, but they only wanted to offer me a 1-year contract. That's a coach's hunting security. So I turned them down. Now this is a true story. The Rockets now are hiring the Comets coach, okay? So they go out and try to hire every coach in this country. Nobody would take the job. At the last minute on Friday before the draft on Monday, they hired me. So now I go to the big press conference. I got the job, and the guy asked me, Big Scoop Berman right here with Channel 26 said to me, Van, why in the world did it bother you that you were the last person hired? I said, big boy, it didn't bother me any because I was my mother-in-law's. I wasn't in her top 25. So that didn't bother me. That's how I got to be had this job here.
Why did nobody want the Comets job?
The college coaches had security. They were having 4-year contracts. And they didn't want to give up. And most of the pro jobs was offering 2 years. The Comets offered me 3 years, and they just didn't want to give up the security of being a college coach and having a contract.
We see a lot of men coach women's basketball now. Back then, I don't know. I think there was probably more men. Was it mostly men in the WNBA?
There were more
all
men. And overall, there were more women than men. Now, there are even more women coaches. A lot of your players now that played are now into coaching. But one of the big reasons is the money's so much better.
Yeah.
Pat Summit and I coached it in college ball. We made no money. We used to sit around and talk about how little money we were making.
What got you into the women's game versus the men's? Why coach women? Why not men? How'd that happen?
A lot of times, women are very receptive to wanting to play for the good of their team. A lot of your men want to go out and I want to be the man. I want to be the guy that's making the baskets. I had 3 superstars. Tina, Cheryl, Cynthia. They were willing to give of themselves a little bit to win. Women that just want to get out there and play hard and want to win. At that time, we weren't playing for much money. We were playing for just a team championship. People ask me all the time, what was it like getting them to repeat? That wasn't hard. They just talk about winning. Oh, yes. Now, we did a lot of motivational things. One year I couldn't get them together, and I called them all in a circle, and I went to the bank, borrowed $10,000, and I had it in a brown paper bag, and I just threw it up in the air. I said, can we get together and play for $10,000? And yes, because in those days, women weren't making much money. $10,000 is a lot of money.
So what was it like trying to get them to play together and win back-to-back championships when you do need to do that motivational stuff? It was that easy? Because I don't believe it was that easy.
No, let me say, after each championship, it got a little harder. Mm-hmm. Everybody now, as you won a championship, everybody now wanted to be a little bit bigger piece of the pie. I want the ball a little more. Why aren't we running a little more of the offense through me? And that got to be a factor. The more you win, you want the ball. You want to be the person that the coach is going to go to when the game is on the line.
I don't think it's any secret that the WNBA today is at its peak. That doesn't mean it's not going to get higher, but it's at its most popular it's ever been, in part, if not a big part, because of Caitlin Clark. What have you seen with Caitlin? What have you seen with the league today?
Okay, I see the league just growing up a storm. Yeah. Wilson scores 1,000 points a match with the Aces. You got Reese rebounding records. Okay, let's say this: a lot of players are contributing, but the person who we needed someone to cap it off, and that's Caitlin Clark. Let me give you an example. I can go to church on Sunday. I can go down to Meadowbrook Farms on the golf course, and people are not wanting to talk about these Texan Longhorns in football. They want to know, did you see Caitlin Clark get 35 last night?
How does that happen? Why is it Caitlin Clark? There have been a lot of great women's basketball players of all races.
Yeah.
Why is it Caitlin that did it?
She just can score, pass the ball, and she's like the three that we had. She's just the kind of players that people want to watch. I get all the time asking me, who's the greatest between Cynthia and Cheryl? I don't answer it. Then I get this question: what about Tina Thompson's lips? Those red lips she used to play with. So they had it. She's got it. Whatever it is, I don't know at times. But she's created a phenomenon. She's selling out crap. But now they're all selling them out. But she's the person that's putting them over the top, in my opinion, now.
So do you think Houston gets another WNBA team? And why is it not here? Is it's now the third largest city in all of America?
We should have a team. We should have never lost our team. This team has got some fans in it that's unbelievable. We have a great women's basketball fan base with the Comets here. That was why they left. I mean, there's no longer a team. It's a mystery to me. I would hope that Tillman, that owns the Rockets, would get behind this and say, let's have a team in Houston.
That's obviously a little bit before my time. So take me through, what do you remember the time when we did lose the Comets? What happened there, and what was the conversations, maybe arguments like?
Okay, at that time, we moved from the Compact Center to the Toyota Center, and we lost some fan base. And then maybe we lost a little interest that I'm talking about, maybe ownership or whatnot, which I understand. And so they decided that we were going to sell the team. Well, when I found that out, it just made me cry. I mean, I didn't want to lose the team at all, because I knew the second we sold the team, I was not going to coach it any longer, because you just need the owner of a professional team to help you have a successful team. They got to have the money to back you up. Now, that was just a sad day for what our team had accomplished in that period of time.
Have you had any conversations with anyone? Has anyone ever reached out to you about the process?
Not at this time. I would love to have some conversation with somebody, because I think I have some ideas on what it's going to take. You're going to have to hire a coach, a general manager that's going to get out there and speak. I'm not trying to brag, but between the first year and the second year, I spoke 92 times in 3 months. You got to find somebody that's going to go out here and sell it and speak to every club. I spoke to 192, and I went to somewhere in Brenham, Texas, and spoke to 6. I mean, you got to get out there and sell it. And you got to find somebody with some personality that can get in our community and meet and greet. I played in every charity golf tournament there is.
So I mean, it's more of a CEO position than it even is a head coach at times.
Yeah, you got to be the head coach, but you got to sell your team. Your team's got your players have got to be friendly. You got to have players that will go out and speak to anybody and shake hands and sign autographs.
Where do you see the league going? Where do you see the next thing?
We're expanding, but I think the league, it worries me that expanding too much. That's what we did early, maybe 2000 to 2004. Take your time. Let's develop teams. I think we need to expand, but you just got to be careful how we expand.
Let's go back into your journey a little bit. Did you ever think, sitting here in 2024, you'd have the wild success that you've had coaching women's basketball at all places?
We're talking about this. I'm telling you now, this ain't nothing but God driven. I mean, this country boy from Mississippi, the things that have happened to him, it's unbelievable. I sit here and I walk in here and I say to myself, how in the world did this happen to you?
How did it happen to you?
The man upstairs just directed this woman and I together, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Was there anything in your life when you look back? It's one of those things where you can't connect the dots looking forward, but looking back, you can see the way God was working and the connections that He put in your life and the people that He put in your life to make things happen. Was there anything in particular that you look back on and say, that was a huge moment. This was a huge moment.
There's no doubt about it. 97. We had been just in great prayer over whether we wanted to stay at Ole Miss and be the coach, and whether I was going to come here if I got offered the job. And I said one day, just riding around, I said, if I get offered X number of dollars, I'm going to take the comest job. I come down here and interview at the last moment. Mr. Alexander says, are you my new coach? And I says, I'm not sure of that. He said, yeah, we can get together, and you can believe this or not. He wrote down an exact amount of money that I thought I should have, and when he did, I accepted the job. That was a sign in my mind.
I talk a lot with Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud of the Texans and their faith and what it means to them, and the fact that they're great at football, but the Lord's using them in different ways, in bigger ways, in better ways. The football is just a platform. What was your purpose? How did you use your platform through your life?
I just always wanted to help make a difference in people's lives. Mm-hmm. I wanted to win. I wanted to win enough to keep my job, but I wanted to win. I wanted to influence young people. I got 3 children that are in coaching and teaching. I tell them at the first of every year, it's not about winning and losing. Hope you win enough to keep your job, but it's about making a difference in just one kid's life. And when I came to coach pro ball, I wanted to make a difference in another person's life.
Have you seen I know you're not coaching anymore, but I don't know if you're around enough. Have you seen enough change? Have you seen a lot of change in the athlete, in the female basketball player from when you were coaching to today?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
What is the biggest change?
Players are taller. You got Candace Parker at 6'3" playing point guard. You got people. Caitlin Clark can shoot the ball from downtown Houston. Angela Reese and Wilson or Asia Wilson, they're just athletes. You got more athletes. I see players on the court doing things that 20 years ago I would have never thought possible.
It seems like you're still really in tune with the game.
Oh yeah, I still keep. I go back to Ole Miss, LSU. I go down Texas A&M. I kind of keep up with the game.
Do you want to get back into the game? Are you consulting?
I'm retired. I'm ready to take it easy. Now, I wouldn't mind coming back and helping bring a team back here, but I don't want to do anything to run that team.
Has anyone ever asked you to get back involved?
Now, if they would, I would get involved because I would love for the city of Houston to have a team. I think they deserve a team.
So what's the next step? Who does that fall on? Is it city officials? Is it leaders? Or is it someone like Tillman?
The next step is you're going to have somebody that's got money that says, I would like to bring women's basketball back here and do it.
How about you?
I
got $10 to give you. That's about all I got.
Well, you got to go in a different direction there, money-wise. I've given it all to my grandchildren.
No, good for them. Good for you.
Yeah.
I guess going forward, what's next for you? What else is on your plate?
Right now,
writing your speech for the Hall of Fame.
I'm just trying to. I've had a little hip surgery. I'm getting better. I'm ready to go back to playing golf 4 days a week.
God, what a life.
Oh yeah, and take it easy. And we're highly involved with Second Baptist Church, and I want to enjoy my family, and I'm just enjoying life.
How's the golf game?
It's not very good when you're 80 years old.
I don't care if you're 80 or almost 40. It's still not very good. I'm not very good.
Mine's not very good, but I enjoy the heck. I love the spirit of playing. I've always played out at Meadowbrook Farms in Katy. I love all the guys out there. And I love just competing. Yeah, just compete and try to beat you.
Yeah, I get that, and then it's an internal game for me.
Yeah,
it's how much I have to focus for 18 holes is the hardest part. At about hole 12, I'm like, all right, mentally I'm worn out.
see, in golf, it don't take but one hole to mess you up.
Yeah, and then it only takes one hole to get you back in, right?
Oh yeah. But I try to win a lot of my games before I ever tee it up. You got to get your strokes right, Will.
Yeah.
The secret to winning is get your strokes right.
What does that mean?
That means I'm gonna play you. What's your handicap right now?
I have all the handicaps. I don't play enough to have a handicap.
Let's say your handicap's 15.
Okay.
My handicap's 8.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you my handicap's 12. I'm going to give you 3 strokes.
Sandbagger.
Yeah, sandbagger.
How often do you play?
4 days a week.
Oh, my gosh. See?
Yeah.
Is that really your handicap, 8?
Yeah, but I play way up. I'm not playing like you are. See, I get to play the seniors tour. Tease.
I couldn't even do that. Anyway, your speech. Is it going to be written down? Is it going to be off your head? Like, how do you do this? Because you've done this a lot now.
They asked me this morning about the speech. And I said, guys, the speech is going to depend. That woman's going to make the speech. That's my wife to the right over there. She's going to make the speech, and I'm going to say the speech. She's much smarter than me, babe.
So is she going to write the whole thing? Like, how does that work out?
She writes the whole speech. I then come in and take little clips out. And then I use those, and that's the points I make.
That's awesome. I don't. Maybe you can speak for her, but to be a coach's wife and to be the coach in a marriage, and how easy or hard that is through the process.
Really hard on a coach's wife.
Yeah.
You're coaching, and the stress of winning or losing is not on you. Your wife's in the stands and having to go through all of that. She can't do anything about the outcome. And it's really hard. But she's been the reason we've been successful. She's the one that kind of keeps me going, keeps me straightened out, and keeps me pretty humble, I think.
Every good wife keeps her husband humble. Really humble.
And so, and everybody that knows me 100% says that Betty Chancellor is the woman behind the man 100%. Let me say that now.
Wow.
So I'll give you one story. So my assistant coach, Kevin Cook, said, I'm having a little health issues. I need for you to pray for me. And I said, and then he thought, and he says, I don't mean this bad. He says, how about putting me on as Chancellor's prayer list? So that tells you the kind of person I'm married to.
You keep getting the question who the best player is that you coached. How about this? Who's the one player you didn't coach that you wish you could have?
Lisa Leslie.
Yeah.
Lisa Leslie. That's easy. Great player, can play it all. She was on my Olympic team. Oh, wonderful person.
In today's game, would it be Caitlin Clark or would it be somebody else?
Well, if I say Caitlin Clark, that's going to make Angela Reese that I know really well.
But the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. I'd have to know them as human beings. Mm-hmm. I'd have to, if I was going to pick somebody, I want to pick somebody that I can hang around a little bit with off the court. I mean, that I can enjoy.
What makes Angela Reese so special? Because she's obviously taken the NBA by storm too.
She just plays hard, brings it every night, thinks every rebound ought to be hers.
And I think they are.
Yes.
I mean, she's as good of a rebounder as there is in the league right now. Has there ever been such great young talent in the WNBA, or is this the best the young talent's ever been?
Been great young talent. I think the best. Yeah. I really do. You got to think. See, Wilson's still a young player. She's still a young player, relatively young.
She's probably the best in the league right now. No.
She's up at the top.
Yeah. Who do you credit as being one of the best coaches in women's basketball history, whether college, pro?
Pat Summitt.
Pat Summitt?
Easy.
More than Gino?
Pat Summitt. I like Gino. Gino's the best offensive coach that's ever coached the game. But Pat Summitt did so much for our game when we needed somebody. Gino's a great coach. Ain't no doubt in my mind. But Pat Summitt, I'd have to go back to when I went to Ole Miss in 1978, when Pat just did a lot to help a lot of people.
Where was the turning point for women's basketball? And I know recently, like Caitlin Clark's been like that icing on the cake, if you will, but it seems like, because you've named so many big names that have played such an integral role in growing the sport. If you could name a couple names, just 2 or 3 that have really made leaps and bounds for the sport, who would it be?
First of all, TV. That's what changed our sport. We just kept walking and working for TV. So you go out there and early, Jody Conrad, Marcia Sharp, Texas Tech. And then you come along with Gino and Pat. And Gino and Pat really drove this game for television. And then they stayed, and then when they had signed this league, when the turning point came, when we started having the SEC on ESPN. So when they got football and men's basketball, they would have to take women's basketball. And when we got on TV, our sport grew. But from just a personal point of view, 97, when we started the WNBA, women's basketball, that's when it really, really started.
I'm going to ask a question that it's a hot topic. It's a hot button, if you will. Have you ever seen so much politics involved in the WNBA as there is today in women's basketball? It seems like it's almost overshadowing all the success and the greatness that they're having.
Politics should never be in sports.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Let's have basketball. Let's have the WNBA for what it is. Let's go forward. Like when I was fortunate enough to coach the Olympic team, they let me pick 11 players. I picked 11 players I thought would help me win. I wasn't about who you were, who your coach was. I wanted 11 players that suited me.
What was a greater honor, winning back-to-back world championships in WNBA or the gold medal? And I'm sure you get that question all the time.
All the time. When I'm in Houston, Texas, I tell them the 4 championships. Yeah. When I'm somewhere else, I tell them the Olympics.
What was that like, that experience to be able to coach on the world stage and win a gold medal and represent your country?
Once again, it was about like this Houston Sports Hall of Fame. I was so shocked. They named me the coach. I was the first male coach. The pressure was on me. When we finally won it, there ain't never been another person nowhere that was as happy as I was that night in Athens, Greece. I sat there and I said, Betty, can you believe a country boy from Nana Warrior, Mississippi has won a gold medal and is coaching a team that represents his country?
What was the balance between happy and relief, being the first man to coach?
The second the horn blows, you're really relieved.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes later, happiness sets in, and you are just thrilled to death.
How often do you think about all that you've accomplished and the trials and tribulations that you've gone through to get to where you are, and just everything that you've done in your coaching career?
The good and bad?
Yeah.
Probably 3 or 4 times a day.
Oh, that's it? What sticks with you the most? You know, every coach says it's the losses that stick with you the most. Is that true with you?
When I first quit coaching, the losses stuck with me. Mm-hmm. Today, what really sticks with me? Coming down here and start the WNBA team in 1997. We were the equipment people. We were the coaches. We were everything. We started a team from scratch and won 4 in a row. That sticks with me as much as anything.
Is there what's the one moment that sticks with you the most in your coaching career?
Gold medal. Winning in Athens, Greece. If you would ask me what sticks out, winning the gold medal.
The fact that it was in Athens had to be even that much more special.
Know, but to represent, you got a shirt on that says USA Basketball.
No.
You're representing a country.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, about that far down is these championships because I lived here. Let me tell you now, we would win a championship. My assistant coach and I would get up at 5 o'clock the next morning and go visit with every friend we had in the city, letting them brag on us for winning a championship. Don't think we didn't enjoy winning now.
Then you didn't pay for a drink for the following year. You didn't pay for a meal for the following year.
Oh, no. We went to, one year we won a championship on Saturday afternoon, went to the Methodist church, and they couldn't find me. And they asked my wife, said, where in the world is Van? He said, well, we were younger. I said, he's down with the older class getting a fix. And they said, what's the fix? Said he's down there. The older women are telling him how good he looked on TV yesterday. And the older men are telling him what a great coach he is.
What a life.
So, yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a great ride, and I'm just humbled, and now I'm going to go into a Hall of Fame that I have so much admiration for, and don't ever think I could have done. This wasn't going to happen without players. Just remember that.
Well, Coach, this has been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on Kickin' with Kunkel. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What an honor this has been. Everybody that's been watching, if you're watching on YouTube, remember, like, click, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. You got to please the algorithm. This is Kickin' It with Kunkel. We'll have another episode, another Hall of Famer next week.